Today we're going over the Ninja of Time banner in Fire Emblem Heroes. This year's sneaky crew consists of ninja alts for Hrid, female Shez, Yunaka, and dual Gullveig plus Kvasir. We'll talk about everyone's stats and skills, plus discuss some build ideas. For this banner, Ninja Hrid is the 4-star focus unit. You can get him at 4 or 5-star rarity. Hrid is back as an Axe Cavalier this time. He may be the 4-star focus unit, but he's kinda gotten that partial 5-star treatment, just with less skills. Now for stats, he has 40 HP, 49 attack, 30 speed, 49 defense, and 27 res. He has super boons for attack, defense, and res. Hrid's stat spread is set up for his trademarked frozen status, which has gotten a lot more accessible since his summer ult. For old skills, Hrid's got Ignis, and that's it. For his unique weapon, Hrid has the Glacial Great Axe. Foes within 3 rows or columns are inflicted with -5 total stats, their field buffs are neutralized, and they take 50% DR piercing. This is an 11 might slaying, dual phase Brave Axe. If above 25% health, Hrid can get up to +9 to all stats if he has 3 foes within 3 rows or columns. Hrid prevents 1 follow-up attack and heals 7 HP per attack. He deals true damage equal to X times 5 and has flat damage reduction equal to X times 3. This X value is the number of positive status effects on Hrid plus the number of negative status effects on the foe. If you have 5 advantageous statuses, Hrid can get 25 true damage and 15 flat DR. Overall, Hrid's got some long-range support, including low and 50% piercing. He's got a Slaying Brave Axe, and he can stack a bunch of true damage to make it hurt. Hrid gets a unique B skill called Glacial Seal. At start of enemy phase, if above 25% HP, and after start of turn healing/damage effects happen, if there are no Divine Vein tiles currently applied by your team, then Hrid deploys Ice Terrain to tiles 2 spaces away from the nearest enemy with the lowest defense. At start of either phase, Hrid also inflicts -7 attack and defense, Frozen, and Defense Shackle to the closest foes and foes within 2 spaces. For himself, Hrid's got Near Trace 4 Kanto. He inflicts -5 attack, speed, and defense on the foe. He makes every follow-up attack, and he gets 20% defense as true damage and flat DR. Ninja Hrid is basically an updated version of his summer form. A new effect this Hrid has is that he deploys Ice Terrain around the enemy team. Instead of making a fort around your team like Brave Robin, Hrid traps the enemy in an ice prison. What if you combine both of those effects? Despite 2 unique skills, Hrid also brings a new inheritable ice skill. After what feels like years, Solid Ground gets its crystalline water counterpart. Shatterproof is a simple skill. It grants +8 flat attack and defense and inflicts -8 flat res. At start of either phase, you can block enemy panic and attack and defense debuffs from being applied to this unit. If you need flat attack and defense and you don't need res, then this skill is for you. For playstyle, Hrid has Omnibreaker with a Brave Axe, so he can quad with a ton of true damage stacked up. If the foes can stop that, then he can out-defense them to abuse Frozen to get a natural follow-up. While speed buffs won't hurt, Hrid definitely wants to focus on attack and defense first. Now for a basic initiator set, you can run Haze Slice. With its own -1 cooldown, Hrid can proc it on his second Brave hit. If he gets hit back, he can proc it on the quad attack too. Haze Slice's 40% DR is great to stack with the flat DR from Hrid's weapon and B skill. You can also add Excel for more flat DR, or you could use Blue Skies for a split true damage and flat DR bonus. Another true damage option are the newer cavalry buffing C skills. Hrid has low and 50% piercing, which makes Outcry dull and Hold Assault kinda redundant. With his Brave attacks, Hrid would love the bread type cooldown via Bellow. There is no attack and defense hold cavalry buffs yet, so I honestly don't know when we'll get one because Intelligent Systems seems to hate defense buffing skills. Case in point, Odd Defense Wave 4 is another decent option since it gives tempo, however that's only on Summer Hrid still. Going back to Bellow, you don't need bread type cooldown for Haze Slice, but it can counteract Guard. Generally, the extra cooldown would be more impactful for things like Ignis, Flame Wall, Arch Rival, or Gale Force Mist. In terms of percent DR, usually the slower calves might want Haze Slice for 40% DR on all hits taken. Hrid's trying to not get followed up thanks to Frozen though. If he's not getting doubled, then you can use the single percent DR via Flame Wall or the first attack's percent DR on Arch Rival. For any mixed phasing, I would say Arch Rival is the go-to, with the 40% DR always being active initially. Now for other skills, you can use Clash 4 or Keep Shatterproof. Hrid doesn't really need the flat attack and defense for anything specific. Sturdy Flare can add flame tiles, which will get overwritten by the ice tiles, but you might be able to trap enemies in the fire or just make it tougher to move around. Now if you want more general utility, Shadow C skills are also fine. Hrid can run Distant Counter if you want to go the Arch Rival mixed phasing route. Heavy Blade can be used in place of bread type cooldown. If you face a lot of adaptive damage, you can try to break out Mystic Boost to counter that. One thing to be aware of is that Hrid only has 2 advantageous statuses in his kit. Try to get 3 more to max out his true damage and flat DR effects. Besides that, Ninja Hríd's a pretty crazy 4-star focus unit. His presence alone will be annoying because of the ice terrain. Frozen has gotten more accessible, but Hrid now has brave attacks himself. Quad attack potential is always scary. Our next ninja is female Shez, who is causing quite a stir. This Shez is a blue infantry dagger with 40 HP, 46 attack, 49 speed, 38 defense, and 25 res. Shez has a speed super boon because speed's very important to her main gimmick. For old skills, Shez has the still hot new Comet special. This is the 5 cooldown Glimmer Deadeye Astro type special where it inflicts 3 times base damage dealt. Comet will give -1 cooldown each turn as it gets closer. Like Arch Rival, this is a 40% DR special that is always active, and it can protect against the first 2 brave attacks. For other old skill, Shez has full disarm for countering 8th rate traps while providing no guard and a sizable speed and defense debuffing. For her weapon, Ninja Shez has the Covert Duality. At start of turn and after acting, Shez inflicts -7 speed and defense, sabotage, and exposure on the closest foes and nearby foes. This is a 9 might slaying dagger with the standard player phase only brave hits. If initiating or near an ally, Shez can get up to +14 to all stats if there are 3 foes within 3 rows or columns. She neutralizes the foe's field buffs, and like Hrid, you can get 25 true damage and 15 flat DR with 5 advantageous statuses. With this weapon, Shez inflicts debuffs that can get doubled via sabotage, and she can get 35 true damage with exposure and her weapon. Unlike her legendary ult, this Shez only has brave hits for the player phase. Now Ninja Shez's unique A skill is Rapid Slice. At start of either phase, if within 2 spaces of an ally, grant 50% DR piercing and hexblade statuses to those allies. In battle, Shez can get +9 to all stats, 40% DR, 7 flat DR, and full no follow-up. Last, Shez keeps her Swift Slice effective damage effects. If initiating on a human infantry foe, you need 20 or more speed to get effective damage against all weapon types. If Shez initiates on any other class, you only need 5 or more speed. Basically, Shez adds more support perks with %DR, flat DR, and no fault to guaranteed quads for herself. She wants to outspeed for effective damage, but against human infantry foes, a 20 speed check is pretty enormous. For a new inheritable C skill, Shez brings Lookout Smog. When Kanto triggers, the unit can use Distance Swap. This skill will also give Kanto 2 to use that. If unit initiates or is near an ally, you get +4 attack and speed and 7 flat DR against first attacks. If you initiate and the foe has an offensive special, you inflict +1 cooldown on the foe before their first attack. Lookout's Kanto with distance swap effects are going to get combined with Pulse Smog's Scowl. To further help with tanking, you get 7 flat damage reduction. Lookout is a dagger only skill, so if you plan to tank some hits and you want to avoid specials, then this is a new option besides Pulse Smog. For whatever reason, Intelligent Systems has released Ninja Shez at the same time as her legendary ults Refine and Remix. I wouldn't say one is majorly better than the other, but they do trade some effects around. Ninja has Slang, Hexblade and no follow-up, while Legendary has dual phase brave attacks, debuff neutralization, breath type cooldown, and no guard. Ninja Shez focuses on speed and defense field debuffs with Sabotage, Legendary focuses on in-combat debuffs with Shackle. The two Shezes want to outspeed for Swift Slice's effective damage, and their general game plan is pretty much the same. For Ninja Shez, she has full disarm to get no guard, and she can activate the full -12 speed and defense debuffs in combat. You can also disable traps and move away with Lookout's Kanto. Now Shez has Comet because effective damage is an attack multiplier. More attack means higher base damage, which means higher Comet damage. Shez having Hexblade also increases her base damage potential if she faces foes with high defense but lower res. Despite having Sling for 4 cooldown, Shez will need a quad to proc Comet unless you plan to wait 3 turns. She does have an okay defensive plan with 40% DR via Comet, 40% regular DR from Rapid Slice, and then a whopping 29 flat DR from her unique skills and Lookout Smog. If you can get attack debuffs, you can sabotage those as well. If you want to proc Comet in 2 hits, you can wait 2 turns and then bring Blade or Breath type cooldown. You don't have to wait if you use Creation Pulse for -2 instant cooldown. You could also run Active Lookout for Desperation in an instant quad. This is risky if you face Hardy Bearing. Against those type of foes, having Smog's Scowl effect can save Shez from a high damage, possibly DR piercing special. Now for other skills, you could run Arch Rival, but Smog covers the Scowl effect. You can also use Lethality, but if you have a lot of defense debuffs, then technically that lowers Lethality's damage. For other B skills, Speed Taker's great talent stacking is fun and it covers no guard, but you risk not getting as much speed advantages as full disarm. If you want more flat DR, then low finish can be used. Shez already has low, but it can give -8 speed and defense potentially, plus the 15 true damage on his special is great. We are getting an Occultist Strike upgrade with this banner, and assuming Assassin Strike follows suit, then this is a way to get anti-healing and breath to cooldown in that B slot. That's another good option. Now if you want no guard for these last two skills, then Tempo as a Sacred Seal can be used. Even though the Shez doesn't get Brave hits for the enemy phase, you can run Panic for a potentially annoying mixed phase setup. Panic buffs are dealt with via Sabotage, so it's a nasty combo if you want to use the new Panic Smoke Sacred Seal. Overall though, Ninja Shez is a fine offensive unit, although outspeeding human infantry is definitely the main concern. If she can't get the effective damage, you may need to quad attack. The Shez is a little prepared for tanking with Scow, 2 40% DR effects, and then 29 flat DR, but is that enough? If you want a ranged infantry with potentially even more tanking power, well, perhaps Ninja Yunaka may be of interest to you. Yunaka is a red bow infantry this time with 40 HP, 47 attack, 49 speed, 31 defense, and 32 res. She has a speed super boon. For old skills, Yunaka has Outspeed Wave 4 for speed buffing and no fault for herself. She also has Arch Rival. Yunaka can do some fun things with that. For Yunaka's bow's stealth, at start of turn and after acting, she inflicts Discord, Speed Shackle, and Defense Shackle onto the closest foes. Yunaka has a slaying dual phase Brave Bow with 8 might. If initiating or above 25% health, Yunaka can get plus 14 to all stats if there are 3 foes within 3 rows or columns. She gets full tempo effects, and like the others, Yunaka can get 25 true damage and 15 flat DR with 5 advantageous statuses. Unlike Shez, Yunaka has dual phase Brave hits, and she can use Discord plus Shackle for speed and defense in combat debuffing. You can of course stack all these ninja debuffs. For her unique A skill, Yunaka has Ninja Zap, at start of either phase if above 25% health, grant breath type cooldown and dodge to allies within 2 spaces. Yunaka gets Pass, and she's breaking out the Raven Tome effect for weapon triangle advantages against colorless foes. Next, Yunaka has the same effect as her aided form. If any tiles within 2 spaces meets any of these following conditions, then Yunaka can warp within 2 spaces of that tile. These conditions are an ally, a divine vein, a defensive terrain, or anything that counts as difficult terrain such as a forest tile. Now for combat, Yunaka can get plus 9 to all stats, 50% DR piercing, and true damage and flat DR equal to X. This time, if there is a tile within 2 spaces that meets one of the above conditions, X is 15. Otherwise, X will at least be 7. Basically, Yunaka will be warping all around, and she has Pass. As long as she's near one of these special tiles or an ally, she can get 15 true damage and flat DR. Dodge will stack with Arch Rival, and breath type cooldown with Slaying Brave hits is pretty juicy. Now what's really fun is that Yunaka gets weapon triangle advantage versus colorless. I was thinking about it when Arch Rival got introduced, but now is the perfect time to bring back the Raven Tome effect. Just like Brave Balder and her green style, Yunaka can use Arch Rival's cooldown effects versus green or colorless foes. I guess technically you could use those two in his team to cover all 4 colors. Now for other inheritable B skill, Yunaka has the Speed and Defense low finish variant. Been waiting since Summer Nino to see another low finish skill. Basically, you get the entire low speed and defense 4, -4 speed and defense with potentially another -4 if the foe has 4 positive effects. You neutralize the foe's speed and defense field boss. The unit will get 7 flat DR. If your special is ready or is triggered in the fight, you get 15 true damage and heal 7 HP on hit. A potent finish is a bit more interesting, ranged units can't use it. The finished B skills are not bad though, with good true damage and on hit healing, suits brave attacks. You also get 7 flat DR, which is stacking with all these other skills. In a general sense, Ninja Yunaka is similar to Ninja Shez, very fast brave attacking ranged infantry unit with 40% DR specials with 40% regular DR and then a boatload of true damage and flat DR. You got debuffing support, and Yunaka brings dodge and breath type cooldown statuses. With her base kit, you have a lot of solid effects like tempo plus guard, no follow-up, low speed and defense, slaying and breath type cooldown. Instead of combat and effective damage, Yunaka can warp around with Pass. She also is going to abuse Arch Rival against 2 colors. It's a pretty nasty setup. In those types of fights, Yunaka can initiate and get -10 instant cooldown. Unless the foe has Scow or defensive tempo, she would charge Arch Rival on the first hit and proc it on the second. Assuming Yunaka is near an ally or a terrain, and her penalties aren't cleansed, she gets 40 true damage via her weapon and A skill. Finish also kicks in for another 15, so 55 true damage total on the Arch Rival proc. If that's not enough, the enemy has to get through 2 40% DR effects, and then a casual 37 flat DR. If Yunaka survives, she will potentially charge a second Arch Rival for the quad. For the most part, her base kit is fine, but defensively, pair might be even harder to deal with. Debuff neutralization, 15 true damage at all times, and you get more than 7 flat DR, plus you get extra versus brave hits. Last up, Yunaka will be tougher to double naturally, as if she needed it. Now, you will lose the finish healing, but in a one-off fight, I would say I would rather not deal with pair up. If you want to flip things around for a more offensive change, you could rock Favor. With her Great Warp ability, Yunaka can use Emblem Micaiah well, self-refresh, ignore gravity with warping, then attack with all the Favor buffs. You don't have to use Favor for the generally good Micaiah synergy. For other cooldown skills, you could run things like Pulse Up or Creation Pulse. The wave buff is nice, but you could outsource no follow-up. For Sacred Seals, finish stacking is fun, or you could try to stack more total stats with bonus doubler and buffing support. In conclusion, Ninja Yunaka is going to be annoying if you don't have the firepower to burst her down. She can warp in at pass and utilize Arch Rival against 2 color types. It's always fun to see the weapon triangle get highlighted in this day and age. Last up we have Ninja Duo, Gullveig and Kvasir. The second duo Gullveig is a colorless mage cav like her mythic form. She has 42 HP, 47 attack, 49 speed, 30 defense and 17 res. Speed super boom, no surprise. For all skills, Gullveig has Slice with Sparrow, and that's it. Gullveig's Scrolls of Time be summoning snakes like Orochimaru. At start of turn, grants Time's Gate, Preempt Pulse, and Anathema to allies within 2 spaces. This is a 9 might slaying Brave Tome. Like Shez, Gullveig only gets the player phase Brave hits. If initiated or the foe is healthy, Gullveig can get up to plus 14 to all stats if there are 3 allies on the map with Time's Gate, including Gullveig herself. Like the other ninjas, Gullveig can get 25 true damage and 15 flat DR with 5 advantageous statuses. After she initiates, if Gullveig survives, she gets an extra action and self-inflicts gravity. This extra action has a 2-turn cooldown. In addition, after combat in the current turn, Gullveig will get Pass. So basically, slaying plus preempt pulse brave attacks with a bunch of stats and true damage. Gullveig gets her extra action that can occur every other turn. This time she gains Pass after fighting. This is because Time's Gate is the status from Kvasir and it allows allies to warp to the adjacent user from 4 spaces away. Previously, Kvasir had to fight to give Time's Gate to herself. This duo gives Time's Gate out of the gate, which means your team can just leapfrog over each other from a pretty big distance. Gullveig self-inflicts gravity with her extra action, but with Pass and this big warp range, you can easily let her hop to an ally. Continuing on, Gullveig's unique special is Future and Pass. This is a 4 cooldown special that deals 80% speed as damage, yeesh. It has no guard, and if initiating, you get % DR. The amount is going to be equal to 40, plus you get another 5% for each ally with Time's Gate active, including Gullveig. She will need to buff 3 other allies to get the max 60% unpierceable DR. Now, like her other ults, if you trigger the special and survive, Gullveig gets an extra action. This effect can work every turn, and takes priority over similar effects such as the one on Scrolls of Time. With Slaying, Future, and Past, it's going to be on 3 cooldown. Preempt Pulse drops that to 2. With no guard, 2 hits will charge the special, but you must actually trigger it to get the extra action. Like the other ranged attackers on this banner, Gullveig has damage reduction to try and survive counters. She gets 60% unpierceable, but Gullveig will have less base stats to work with compared to Shez and Yunaka. You also need to start each turn next to the team to give Time's Gate, so setup is kind of required. Now, even if Gullveig can't proc her special, or maybe her weapon's extra action is on cooldown, she can still go again with her dual skill. Like the other ninjas, Gullveig gets the Gale Force dual skill, grant an extra action if the unit has fought in the current turn. Since Gullveig will also be on lower health maybe, she also gets to heal 40 HP with this skill. Basically, Gullveig can potentially attack 4 times in 1 turn. You can attack twice if her other effects are not available. Now, to help Future and Past activate, Gullveig has a new inheritable B skill, Conjuring Breath. If unit initiates, you deal 7 instant damage and the foe cannot recover HP during or after combat. You inflict -4 speed and res and deal true damage equal to 20% of the greater of foe speed or res stats. The user will get 7 flat damage reduction, and last you get Breath type cooldown. Conjuring Breath is a pure upgrade from Occultist's Strike. All the same effects from that, plus Fatal Smoke's anti-healing, 7 flat TR, Breath type cooldown, and the true damage portion that can scale off of speed now. Since Reinhardt paid his taxes for not getting Bellow, he is able to use Conjuring Breath for cooldown. Like Occultist's Strike, this is a skill for all mages and dragons. As a last note, apparently this is a 400 SPB skill. I believe it's the second one after High Dragon Wall. If you wanted to min-max arena score, then I guess have fun with that. Gullveig will also have a new inheritable C skill. This one is Attack and Speed Hone Assault, which was actually backwards in the trailer. Now, Hone Assault was on Heimdallr, and this is the cavalry buffing C skill that gives 50% DR piercing. You can get extra attack and speed for every ally you buff with the status. Hone Assault is easy to inherit, and it can go on all cavaliers. As a trade-off, it does not get extra true damage like Outcry Doe or Bellow. Ninja duo Gullveig is going to be quite dangerous. Giving everyone's times gate means team-wide long-range warping. You also can stack Anathema for debuffing, which can be pretty strong when you're grouped up. Now for combat, Gullveig would drop the Slaying Future and Past to 2 cooldown thanks to Preempt Pulse. With Conjuring Breath, the first Brave hit will charge it, the second procs it. If Gullveig survives a counter, she can possibly trigger Future and Past again on the quad attack. After combat, Future and Past triggers its extra action. Gullveig can now use Past to warp safely. She does not have Kanto, so you can use this opportunity to warp out of danger, or you can try to get under the KO. Should you fight again, Scrolls of Time triggers its extra action. Fight a third time, and then you can use the dual skill for a fourth action. While Gullveig's potential is scary, she's probably the most vulnerable out of the ninjas trying to tank with percent DR. Very low base res, decent but not as much flat DR, no bonus defense res besides her weapon, and no follow-up to deny enemy doubles. Since your percent DR is player phase only, you pretty much can't get caught out first. If you're going to use Gullveig, you kind of want to set up a big one-turn play with times gate warping or other extra action users. The new Sharenas would be hilarious, and maybe you could use Fairy for Wings of Mercy. If anything, for this Gullveig, you might want to try to get those 2 taps cleanly instead of trying to tank a hit and go for a quad. Now, for more true damage on the special, you can use Aria. If you can outsource Breath type cooldown, then you could maybe swap to Shackle or Far Resound to get Kanto. If you can outsource Kanto, then Gullveig could maybe use Shadow Sea skills for even more team mobility. For other options, Smoke Debuffs and Savage Blow would be nice if you're going to be piling on a group of foes. If you can't use the dual skill, Desperation could let Gullveig go for the instant quad when on lower HP. Of course, you probably want to go all out with as much attack and speed stacking as possible. Overall, Gullveig is up to her usual extra action madness, but this time with the firepower of Brave attacks. I would be a little concerned with getting hit still, but Gullveig will still cause chaos regardless. Times Gate being passed out for free is quite the mobility tool. That'll be it for this year's Ninja banner. Next, we still have to talk about the Tempest Trials. You can get yourself a Ninja male Shez. He looks awesome, but he did lose out on a unique weapon this time. Still, he's very much a usable unit for sure. We'll discuss Shez more next time. Good luck on your summons, and thank you for watching. I will see you in the next video.